Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things tech and finance. And in this video, I'm going to be going over each individual step that you should generally take when you are about to deploy your own machine learning model. When it comes to machine learning engineering, the intricacies sort of become a little bit variedied, but I'm going to be going over three main steps that you want to take into consideration when you are actually about to deploy your model. The very first step is that you want to figure out where your data is coming from. This is going to be your data storage capacity. And so this is where we are associating ourselves with databases such as Postgres, MemSQL, MySQL, Oracle, you name it. But in this case, I'll be using the Postgres database in order to query our data from. Step two, we want to figure out how we're actually going to stream our data into our said databases. We can use a variety of tools, very popular ETL tools such as NiFi or Airflow, but in this case I'm going to be using Python since it's very simple to use and it's also very friendly to use as well. Now that once our foundation is secured and that our data is streaming into our said databases, we want to extract that data, and that leads us to our third and probably final step when we are creating our model, or we can just extract weights from a given model. The process is the same, but we need to connect our models to the front end, in this case Flask, and that is where our models will be deployed with a click of a button. So how would we actually combine all of these services together into one lump sum? Well, in this case, I'm actually going to be using something called Docker. Docker is an extremely popular tool to use when it comes to developing machine learning operations and capabilities. You don't have to worry about library versions or package discrepancies among different work streams. Your code can run on any machine. So if it works on your machine, it will work on someone else's machine. This is where finally the Mac community and the Windows community can finally unite. There are a few intricacies that you want to be aware of when using Docker, and I will be going over the technical details a little bit later in this video. A Docker file is a text file that builds an image. An image is a blueprint of what your system will look like, where it includes operating system, software, applications, you name it. The third part is that you need to know what a container is. It's essentially a running instance of that said image. A volume is where data that's associated with a container can be put aside and accessed later. Docker Compose is an excellent way to run multiple microservices and organizes your work very well, and it's very easy to understand and read. These services can run different languages, and one key thing here is that all the services should interact with each other in some way or another. And also, all these services are run in parallel unless there is a service that is dependent on another. And the final step is that there's something called Kubernetes and Docker Swarm. Kubernetes is an infrastructure for managing multiple containers, and it takes care of scheduling issues. They're also known as kubelets. Docker Swarm is similar to Kubernetes, but it's just less technically complex, and they're also known as Docker daemons when they are managing multiple containers. Okay, so this is a very bare bones introduction on how to deploy your given machine learning model. And according to our very first step, in this case our very first microservice, is that we are going to be creating our own database. Our database is going to be Postgres, of course, and we're going to be naming our Postgres database container, just Postgres container. This is where our Docker file exists inside of Docker storage. We're going to be going over that very shortly. These are the ports, the very standard. We have a host to the container. These are the default entries, so I just leave it as is. The environment variables is essentially what your username, password, and database are going to be. So of course I just called it username, password, and database name, And so if we want to store a given volume, our data, this is going to be stored into our external volumes. So whenever our application is done and through, and if we don't delete our volumes, then we can easily access our volumes over here whenever we so may choose. So we can be going over this real quick. And over here, let's go over data storage. We have a Docker file and we have a Postgres schema. So let's go over the Docker file. This is essentially getting the latest version of Postgres. I'm exposing a port, and I'm going to be running a the initial SQL query in order to stand up our given schema and our given table. What that looks like is this. We created a schema, call it model data. We're going to authorize ourselves, Postgres username over here. We're going to authorize ourselves in order to, actually work with this database. We're going to set the path. We're going to set the path to the model data, and then we are going to set the path to the model data as well for the search path for our given database over here. Of course, you can commit it, and this is going to be our related data when it comes to creating the table. And so we are actually going to be predicting a target variable. This is related to a crimes data set where we have a 0 or a 1, where 0 is that you are not a criminal and 1 that you have a criminal record, something along those lines. So this is going to be our data storage. And if let's actually run our stuff over here. So the way to run this, first we want to make sure that we are in the same directory as our Docker Compose file over here. The way to do that is just to run Docker Compose ups -- build. So this builds your image and then also executes your image as well. And so we're going to be running that. It's going to take a few seconds. Let that run in the background, but we are going to be checking out what that database looks like. So it looks like it is good to go. Database system is ready to accept connections. Now let's pull up another Anaconda prompt or whatever terminal that you are working with. Make sure that you are in the same directory as well, just for clarity's sake. This is our image that we want to go into. So to get into this image, we just need to run docker exec-interactive. That's what that stands for. 403, which is the container ID over here. You only need the first 3 or 2 or 3 characters. End it with bash. And then we want to change our rights to Postgres. And then we want to access the actual database. And I have something written over here that I will just be pasting that over. And Postgres password. Now we are in. So PSQL, that's PostgreSQL, username, and this is the name of our database that we are trying to get into over here. That is a database. Let's pull up our prompt here. Now let's look at our relationships, and it looks like our schema has been created. So let's see if there's any data, which there should not be any data that exists inside of the schema and the table that we have set up over here. So that should be an underscore, and this is .ex table. Yeah, select everything. So over here we have 0 rows, and that is a good sign. So we know that our database has been stood up, and now we want to go to the next step, and that is going to be inserting our given data. Now that we know our database is up and running and it can be readily accessible whenever we so may choose, we can now insert data into our given database. And so this is very similar. I just named the overall service Python insert because I'm using Python. The container name is called inserting data. And then we're going to have the build data insert, which is going to be referencing this file over here. And this is going to be our Docker file that will actually be builded over here. And it depends on Postgres. So this service depends on the very first service, in this case Postgres, in order to run first, and this will run thereafter. So once we know everything is running, let's go to our Docker file. Very similar, we are creating a very similar script for the data storage over here. Let's pull this up over here. Let's pull that. Yeah, there we go. So very similar to the data storage we have over here. We are getting the most recent version, and in this case I'm creating a working directory over here. So what this does is that within the overall container, think of it as an individual computer, a Linux box, so to say. It's creating its own working directory, and I'm copying all of my files within this working directory, everything that's within data insert. So requirements insert, Docker file, and everything that we have in our data file over here. Everything in that, copy that to this closed off system, and then we'll be running our pips file, pip install -r requirements, which all of our given data libraries exist. We're using Pandas, SQL Academy, and Scicop G2. We're going to be doing all of that, and then we're going to be executing this script related to this Docker file, Python insert py. So this will finally run the Python script that we have here, and this is our overall script. So essentially very simple. What I'm doing, I'm accessing the database that we have just created with the same credentials, Postgres username, password, database name, and I'm accessing the data that we have in our data folder over here, crime_data.csv, access that, and I'm just going to be inserting this database or this table into the database that we have over here, and hopefully our data is actually ingested. So let's see how that runs, and let's pull up our thing over here, and let's actually exit out here. And what we want to do now, since we are rerunning everything, we want to make sure that we are starting fresh, and so that's docker-compose-v over here. Notice we had the names of Postgres container that references the container names that we have over here. So cool stuff. Let us rerun it, docker compose up -- build, and in this case we should now have a database that is up and loaded and data that's inserted into that database. And so let's see how that is done. And it looks like it is good to go. So we see that we have inserting data, the container name that references inserting data over here, and Postgres container that references over here. And we both know, well, we know that our container has run successfully, and both of the containers have run successfully with the exit code 0. So let's check out that data. And let's get out of here. Docker ps, check out that skeleton Docker over here, and let's go into that new container, -it32c bash. Let's use Postgres, and let us log in again. PSQL, run that over here. Postgres password -t, and let's select data from this table to see if we have successfully inserted data into our pseudo database over here. Next table, and let's limit that to 10. Bam, that is our data set that we are going to be working with. Also, let's check out how many columns. There we go, 466 observations. So not a huge data set, but also not a very tiny data set that we are working with. So now that we know that our database is up and running with a given data set over here, let's now exit down and power down the overall Docker instance. So let's go to our Flask application, which is going to be our very next steps. Minimize this, and that's take out insert. So deploy model. So first, let's check out the Docker file. We're going to be working with 3.8, same thing. We're going to be create a working directory, copy everything that exists within deploy model, the folder deploy model over here. And then we'd be running the requirements file, and we'd be executing app.py, which is our Flask application. So what I am doing over here is actually really quite simple. Essentially, I'm going to be training a model. This is extracting data from a given, from the given database, extracting the data, and then it's going to be doing a logistic regression function on that data. It's going to be running into a text file, and it'll return that text file so that Flask can actually read that. And this is where we're going to be working with routes and so on and so forth, where essentially each route has a specific function that's associated with it. And if you press a button, for instance, in this case, we're going to be pressing an output button, a specific function will run. In this case, it'll be train model. And then we're going to be putting this into our HTML code over here. And this is just making our output look really, really fancy and really, really nice. So let's see how that works. And also note, everything is exactly the same. It has the same build as the Docker file. And it depends on, in this case, the Python insert, making sure that everything's inserted. And we have our Flask app, which is just the name. Of course, we have our ports over here. And now let us see what this actually looks like. So let's pull up our terminal over here, and let's run this again, but now with all of our individual components. So this will take a little bit of time in order to configure all the applications and all that, and making sure that each individual service has downloaded their associated libraries. So this should only take me like 2 minutes or so. In fact, it only took about 1 minute. So let's actually open up a a server over here, a Google Chrome all the way, and let's actually copy this HTTP. Let's copy that, and the 0.000, we need to change this because the zeros only represented the any type of incoming IP address that is going to this specific port. And so we need to change that. Just put it as localhost and you should be fine. And this is our website. Oh wow, how convenient. If you haven't taken the time to like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps out with this channel. Bam. Alright, so this is where our deployment will actually happen. So we have a button over here. This button is going to execute our given script related to the logistic regression over here. It's going to execute this train model. It's going to get all that really nice output, and it's going to be outputting that into our next file. Well, it's going to be inputting that into our next web page over here I have going on over here. So let's actually run that. Oh, look at that. It ran. That was really, really fast. And so this is how you actually deploy a model. Now you just want to associate this with a website and you should be good to go. You can associate this with corresponding weights with different models that take hours, days, maybe even years in order to train, so that maybe everyone can utilize this. You can incorporate input buttons in order to, upload files in order to predict something, maybe an object orientation. Their options are endless, and this is really, really cool. So this is a DIY on how to do or how to deploy a machine learning model with some machine learning pipeline capabilities. Really, really neat stuff. Well, I'm glad that you made it this far into the video. If you have any questions, make sure you hit that comment button and let me know what you're thinking. I'll try my best to get back to you. And make sure that you read this, like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you again.